Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome here to East Gymnasium at Fort Lee High School for this non-conference volleyball matchup featuring the Leonia Lions, 3-6 on the season, and your Fort Lee Bridgemen, 6-3 overall. Hello, everybody. I'm Dan Long. So glad that you could join us for our continued coverage of the 2025 volleyball season here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. The Bridgemen are on fire right now, tying themselves with their largest consecutive win streak on the season, having won 3 consecutive matches, doing the dirty work since they dropped that 2-0 loss on September 17th against Ramsey. Leonia comes in off a loss their last time out against Pagoda, so they're going to be trying to take down a Big North Conference opponent here today as they hail from the NJIC smaller conference. Leonia will be in their maroon, while Fort Lee is in their home white with the orange numerals outlined in black. 2 head coaches for the respective sides. Stephen Korn is the head coach of Leonia. John Ziemba, the legendary coach, on the sideline for the Bridgemen. These two teams met a season ago on October 1st, 2024 at Leonia. Fort Lee won in 2 sets, 25-14, 25-18. They've won the last 2 meetings between the two sides, and Bella Plout will begin with service for Fort Lee, the libero wearing the black, while the rest of her teammates are in white. Was shot that attempt by Lorelai Gomez. Plout trying to dig it out, but Leonia was able to drop it in just in front of that back line for the opening point to take a 1-0 lead. Lions are coming off that 2-set loss against Pagoda. They lost 25-16, 25-21. Set up to Song to the near side. Nice diving effort made in the back line by Leonia to keep it alive. Sarah Wong. Gomez tried to slice it a little bit as she was approaching the front part of the net, but didn't get it up and over in time. So it's going to be 2-0 lead for the visitors. Fort Lee looking for their first point, and they will get it off of the deflection. One of the most recent matches here at home when they lost against Ramsey, Fort Lee had an incredible start. They were up 11-2 in the opening set against the Rams, but then eventually fell in both sets. They trailed 2-1. Love to get that type of start again here. That one goes too long. It's going to be back-to-back points for Fort Lee as the Bridgemen have knotted the score level now at 2-2. Fort Lee coming off wins on Saturday against Mahwah and Emerson. Before that, they defeated Holy Angels in 2 sets. This was all after losing against Ramsey, one of the better teams in the county, here last week. Leonia back on top, 3-2. Blount will pop it forward. Samantha Song in front. Sanella Watanabe was also trying to get to it. Here's Wong to Song, to the outside to Gomez. Pushes that one forward, and it falls right in front of that back line as Leonia was unable to communicate and get to it in time. 3-3 your score. Tessa Racevic, the freshman back line player, could not get to it in time. They serve it right to her. And Plout was laying off of it, and it's going to be a point awarded to Leonia. A 4-3 lead for the Lions here in the opening set. Iram on, number 3, was the one serving for Leonia, and once again, Gomez does a nice job. A couple times she's just been very aggressive getting towards the front of the net and just having a little deft touch to score the winner. So as Fort Lee rotates, Luna Sugahara, the senior, number 3, will come in to serve, trying to give the Bridgemen their first lead of the opening set. And that's a cross-court winner. That's good location that time on that shot by Leonia. As once again, they'll stake themselves to an advantage by 1. Naomi Markowski, who just subbed out for Leonia, was the one who had the cross-court winner. Now Adrian Kang will serve. Olivia Kim into the match for the first time. Right in the front of the net for Fort Lee. 5-4 deficit for the Bridgemen. Kim tried to kind of hook shot that one, but didn't get enough air underneath it. Back-to-back points for Leonia. They now have tie for their largest lead. They led early 2-0. They now lead 6-4. Watanabe. Song quickly just got it over, and it actually did the job. Point for the Bridgemen, and they're back to within 1 at 6-5. Sarah Wong, the senior, with a couple of aces against AHA last week. And a point is going to go for Fort Lee. There was a delay of the call by the official. Some sort of violation in front against Leonia. So back-to-back points here for Fort Lee. Bridgeman back 6-6, but that service too long. 7-6 for the Lions. Right in front of the net, Kim just curled it over in time. Plout. Kim, thunderous finish there, right in front for Olivia Kim, the senior, who had 4 kills against Holy Angels. Finishes that one off, subs off the floor as well. 7-7 your score here in the opening set. Leonia was a little late getting to the gym, and that's why this started after the scheduled 4:15 start time. And with that service ace that slowly lipped off the top of the net, that gives Fort Lee their first lead of set number 1. Once again, it's Sydney Kim, the senior, who had that service ace. Fort Lee trying to grow its lead even further. And that shot attempt went too long, goes out of bounds, 8-8. Fort Lee wants to continue their winning ways, especially with their biggest match of the season awaiting them later on this week here at home against arch rival Cliffside Park. This time jump on the near side leads to the point for Leonia. The Lions with back-to-back scores, and it's now a 9-8 lead for the visitors. Plout setting up the other side for Margaret O. Plout again in the back line, doing a good job as the libero. Oh, Leonia saves it themselves. Nice play there by Stella Sang, their libero. But eventually the point is secured by Fort Lee after the long volley. Nice job in front of the net there by the Bridgemen. 9-9 after Watanabe had the winner. Plout serving, low lining serve. That's some velocity on it as well. Deflected around. Fort Lee tracks it down. Song gets it up and over. Good scramble here. Little miscommunication after a couple of different Fort Lee players did not go and track down that loose ball that harmlessly just fell in between a host of 3 different players. 10-9 lead for Leonia. They've lost their last 2 matches at home in the last 2 years against Fort Lee. They won in their last visit here to East Gymnasium. That came on October 25th, 2021. They beat the Bridgmen in 2 sets. They extend their lead again to 2, an 11-9 margin. Fort Lee has only led on one occasion. They led by 1. A lot of times it's been a 2-point margin in favor of Leonia here in this opening set. Fort Lee gets that one caromed off the front line and out of bounds off of Leonia. Nice play by Sonia Yurchenko, the senior number 12 who just came into the match. Immediately had her presence felt. And that service, unlucky for Fort Lee. It was a swing and a miss by the defender in the back line by Leonia, but it went too long anyway. So it's a point for the Lions. They lead 12-10. Blount ranges down low. Nice, unbelievable job there of the no-look. All the momentum was taking Watanabe more to the near side right. She deposited it far side left. Cagey move there. Fort Lee back to within 1. Kim, 2 hands in front. Kim pops it up, trying to set up Yurchenko on the far side. Drop shot, doesn't go. Tracked down here by Leonia. Yurchenko a little flat-footed, had that blocked quickly back. Good reaction time by her. Long volley here for this point. Blount digs it out. Wong, good placement on that shot. Down the near right side. Leonia couldn't get to it in time to return it. Back-to-back points by Fort Lee. It's a 12-12 opening set here in East Gymnasium. Watanabe will serve, trying to get that second lead here for Fort Lee. Deflected, Blount digs it out. Yurchenko will get to the front of the net. Good fundamental volleyball right now by the Bridgmen, keeping things in play, forcing Leonia to run all around, and they eventually found that vacated spot in the back left corner. So the Bridgmen have gone on a run now. It's a 3-0 spurt, 13-12 advantage. Blount taking control from the back line. Song tries to direct it towards the back line, and unreturnable there for Leonia. Racevic could not get to it in time, and head coach Stephen Korn has seen enough. It's the longest run of this opening set here for Fort Lee, as they've gone on a 4-0 run, and that gives them an opportunity to take their largest lead at 14-12. We'd like to thank our presenting sponsors here of Fort Lee Bridgmen Athletics on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Fort Lee PBA, Cafaso's Fairway Market, The Finest Construction, Fort Lee Soccer Club, Rusin and Daru Electric, Bridgman Basketball Camp, the Fort Lee VFW, Visions Federal Credit Union, It's Greek to Me, Connect One Bank, Bergen Black Sox, Senator Builders, and UCS Strength and Speed. Largest lead of the opening set now for Fort Lee. Neither team has led by more than 2. Leonia recently snapped a 3-game losing skid when they defeated Hawthorne on September 16th, but just fell on their last time out against Pagoda, looking to get back in the winning ways. Fort Lee trying to extend their win streak to 4 in a row. And that shot is inbounds in the back right corner. Yurchenko has been a difference maker since coming into this match. When she was subbed in after some troubles early on by Fort Lee in the front of the net, she's been the difference maker. That serve ate up Leonia. They'll get it over. Blount will get to it. Setting up Wong. Wong shot well too wide and far, as that stops that run of 5 in a row there for Fort Lee, and it's a 15-13 lead for the Bridgmen. Curling offering that went out of bounds. So service error there for Leonia. And a point now for Fort Lee, back in front by 3 at 16-13. It'll be back to Luna Sugahara being counted on here to get that accurate service going. Does so there. Big hit there by Leonia. Good job of tracking it down, though, by Fort Lee. And that's a cross-court winner. I've been impressed a couple times. Kotoka Nakamura, number 8, is the one who has been really, whenever she's been connecting on the near side, she's got some velocity on her shot. Nakamura winning that cross-court. 16-14, Leonia down by 2 and serving. Flout. Fort Lee just getting it over there by Watanabe. There again, a hard hitter on the near side is Nakamura. They got to keep it away from her defensively if you're Fort Lee. Oh, drop shot. Doesn't go. Setting up Nakamura again, a little flat-footed in the back line. Back-to-back points scored by her. And Leonia is back to within 1 at 16-15. And a timeout's going to be taken by Coach Ziemba as he wants to diagnose some strategy here. And I think part of it's going to be aware of when number 8 is lurking on the near side wing, as she's been impressive in trying to get Leonia back level here in set number 1. (16-15), so after Fort Lee had built up their largest lead at 3, Leonia is now trying to carve its way back level. O gets it over. Leonia trying to catch Fort Lee by surprise. Here's O. And that's too many. I think Leonia kind of lost count of how many times they had hit it, and they tried an extra pass when it was unnecessary in front. That point goes over to Fort Lee, 17-15. Competitive opening set here at East Gymnasium. Hopefully you're enjoying it wherever you may be. Lout, great job hustling off to the back line. Song didn't get all of it. Racevic was able to win it back from the outside, and that time it went a little too long into the outside. So a point for Fort Lee. They extend their margin back to a 3-point lead at 18-15. As Sarah Wong continues to serve. Good block of the net there by Kim, and it eventually leads to the Fort Lee point. Largest advantage of the opening set now for the Bridgemen at 4. 19-15. And that service does find its way in that back line and falls in for the point. And Fort Lee now on top by 5, 20-15, as they're 5 points away from taking set number 1 here at home. So the largest lead of set number 1 for either team is 5 right now at Fort Lee. 20-15 lead for the Bridgemen. Leonia was holding on to a 2-point advantage for majority of the opening part of this first set. Then Fort Lee would start to take the lead back. And now they've gone on the longest sustained run here. Leonia scrambling, just getting it over in time. Trying to set up Kim in front. Deflects off a couple of pair of hands. Miss hit on the back line, right into the middle of the net, 21-15. Fort Lee starting to pull away here. All on the service of Sarah Wong. Dug out that time by Sang. Diving effort. Fort Lee desperately tried to get it up and over. Credit the hustle of both Wong and Kim. But they were unable to get that one. 21-16, Leonia trails here by 5. That one goes too long. Coach Ziema making sure to barking out to his team that was out. Making sure no one was trying to go for it. Trying to gauge where that back line is. 22-16. Sydney Kim doing the service. That one lipped off the top of the net. Just kept alive. Cross court. And that goes too long for Fort Lee. Point over for the visitors. Back to within 5, 22-17. Nice defensive play there by Fort Lee as Wong got to it. And eventually a mistake was made on the other end. Another hit into the net. Fort Lee 2 points away from capturing set number 1. They lead 23-17. Nice combination block there in front of the net between Song and Watanabe. And we're at set point 24-17. As Fort Lee trying to finish this opening set off against Leonia. Lions trying to stay alive. One-handed, kept up by their Kim. Plout getting it over. And that one goes out of bounds, and Fort Lee will finish off set number 1, 25-17. On top there as both teams were going back and forth in the early vestiges of set number 1. Looked like it might be a very, very close opening set, but then Fort Lee was able to find their game, put together a sustained run, and did a nice job there finishing it off in style, 25-17. Again, we'd like to thank our broadcast partners who allow us to bring you the coverage of Fort Lee athletics throughout all 3 seasons during the school year. The Fort Lee PBA, Cafaso's Fairway Market, The Finest Construction, Fort Lee Soccer Club, Rusin and Daru Electric, Bridgman Basketball Camp, the Fort Lee VFW, Visions Federal Credit Union, It's Greek to Me, Connect One Bank, Bergen Black Sox, Senator Builders, and UCS Strength and Speed. Thank you to all of our proud sponsors. So Fort Lee captures the opening set 25-17, sending us to set number 2 here. If the Bridgemen capture this second set, then they will move to 7-3 on the season. Leonia trying to win this second set to then force a third and final set to decide this match here today. Again, it's the Big North taking on the NJIC in this volleyball showdown, non-conference affair. Fort Lee's big next match will be here at home on September 25th as they'll host division rival and arch rival Cliffside Park. Leonia will next be in action against NJIC rival Park Ridge, who is in their division of the NJIC Colonial. Fort Lee is out of the Big North American Division. Fort Lee in their home white, Leonia in their road maroon. Leonia will begin with service to start set number 2. Flout gets it over. Flout again, right in front of that back line. Oh, cross-court winner. And that's a point for Fort Lee to start off. Great job there of number 4, Margaret O, who had 5 digs in the win against Holy Angels. The senior had an ability on that far side. Now are they saying that it's actually not a point for Fort Lee? Wow. It looked like, even from our vantage point, that was a shot that was in from the far side to the inside here. But instead, it was an overrule by the official on the ladder. And so 1-0 start to this second set for Leonia. Lions trying to grow that lead, and they will. Nice diagonal winner themselves, and it's a 2-0 start for the visitors. Much like it was to begin set number 1. O trying to deliver the first point of set number 2 for Fort Lee. Plout. Wong. Song. What a nice job there. Song even surprised herself how it came off her hand. Sliced it down the near side when everybody was kind of anticipating it being more of a centered ball. But it just got over the outstretched hands of the front line and got Fort Lee their first point of set number 2. They're down 2-1. Double bounce on the backboard of the basketball backboard. You play it off the bounce in these gyms. Little push shot there. Good job tracking down Sang, the libero in white for Leonia. And once again, it's Samantha Song, the sophomore. Back-to-back points for her. And it's 2 straight for Fort Lee. They've tied it up at 2-2. Lout knows that one was going a little too long in the play, laid off it. 3 in a row for Fort Lee, as Bello will continue to serve. Fort Lee's first lead of this second set, 3-2. Kim did a nice job of quickly getting to that in the back line. A hook shot attempt there by Watanabe in front. She got a piece of it with a block attempt, but it ricocheted off of her and then out of bounds. So a point then for Leonia. It should be 3-3. Now they've got it sorted out correctly on the scoreboard. Racevic was the one who started off with the service for Leonia. And there's the kill, finished off once again by Nakamura. 79 kills on the season for the senior, number 8 leading scorer on this Leonia side. 4-3 lead for Leonia. Platt will try to track it down with Wong in help. Gomez just couldn't get to it in time after she was trying to pop it forward with a closed fist. Leonia's gone on a run here. 5-3 advantage for the Lions. A 3-0 spurt for the visitors, tying their largest lead of the second set. They have not found an answer for number 11. Samantha Song is feasting right now on the near side wing. Song pulls Fort Lee back to within 1 at 5-4. Samantha will serve here. Fort Lee unable to return that hard offering again from Nakamura. Bridgman have to try to avoid her side. A 6-4 lead for the Lions. Gomez mistimed the jump. And Gomez will come off Yurchenko, who was that spark plug for the team back in the opening set. Trying to provide that lift again here. There's a service error just when Leonia had grown their lead to its largest at 3. It was 7-4, it's now 7-5. Serve back over to Fort Lee. And Anela Watanabe, the freshman. And that time a mishit. A rare mishit by Nakamura. Did not get enough air underneath it. 7-6. Leonia's lead is down to 1. Watanabe gets the service ace. That ate up the backline defender. No chance at a return, so now the Bridgemen have gone on a run again. Tied up at 7-7. Watanabe again, low lining serves. Great placement. Plout. Watanabe. Yurchenko. Diving play there by Nakamura. Song. Quick movement. Didn't catch Leonia by surprise, though. There's Kim. Wong pushing it, finding the vacated space in the back left corner, right in front of Coach Korn. 8-7 lead for Fort Lee. Nice response here by Coach Ziemba's side after they had fallen behind by as many as 3. 4-0 run, make it 5-0 run. Another ace courtesy of Watanabe. And Coach Korn trying to stop it. And as the momentum is clearly shifted back over to the Bridgemen, Fort Lee on a run here. A 5-0 run to take a 9-7 lead here in set number 2. Fort Lee trying to keep the good times rolling. And that time again, to the benefit of Leonia, they swung and missed on the back line, and it actually went a little too long anyway. Unlucky there for Fort Lee a couple times in the course of this match. So the momentum was stopped there with the timeout. 9-8 lead for Fort Lee. Cloud getting to it. Wong quickly getting it up and over. Wong. Dragged down by Leonia. Lions getting it over with Josephine Meltzer. Kim. Diving effort in that back line. Nice play by Racevik. Plout answers with a dive of her own. Longest volley of the second set. And that's a point in front. Great defensive work. The middle blocker there. Olivia Kim, the senior number 2, doing an exquisite job in front. 10-8 lead with serve going back over to Fort Lee and Sugahara. And that's going to be a point for Fort Lee after one of the players for Leonia was trying to get to it and actually fell underneath the net and onto the side of Fort Lee. So an 11-8 advantage now, the largest lead of set number 2 for the Bridgemen. Leonia led by 3 earlier in this second set. Great job of Song tracking it down. Now Leonia on a bit of a scramble. Watanabe had that one ricochet into the top vent here in East Gymnasium, and that just deadened the ball. No chance of having it popped up for teammates to get and execute underneath it. So 11-9 the lead now for Fort Lee, as service will go back over to the Lions of Leonia High School. Plout. Trying to go to that far side, but no location that time for Fort Lee as it went wide of the mark and went out of bounds. Back-to-back points for Leonia, pulls them back to within 1 at 11-10. Again, Fort Lee wins this second set, they win the match. Leonia needs the win to force the third set. Kim trying to push it up and over. Diving play, Kim off of that initial save by Watanabe. That jammed up Watanabe, no chance of a return. And now Leonia's gone on a 3-0 run. 11-11. Kotoka Nakamura serving. Oh, could not get to it as it caromed down a bound to the far side. And Coach Diemba will call for the timeout. 4-0 run here for Leonia as they've taken back the lead now at 12-11 here in set number 2. Leonia back in front, 12-11. They've gone on a 4-0 run after Fort Lee had led 11-8. Lions unable to track that down in time. Couple of too many hits. 12-12. Sarah Wong back to serve. Fort Lee looking to go on one of those trademark long sustained runs. That kind of knuckled a little bit there, and Sang finally got to it. Long. Song. Kim. Miss hit. Too long. Out of bounds. Back right corner. 13-12 Leonia. Fort Lee not able to generate a little distance right now. Leonia's been back and forth with them. Plout. Plout gauging that one going too long. Laid off it, 13-13. Fort Lee has won 3 in a row on the season. They've done a great job here at home, where they're 4-2 this season in East Gym. Leonia has lost 1 in a row. They're looking for that first road win of the year as well. They're 0-2 this season. Unlucky that time by Sydney Kim. She did a great job of getting low, popping it up, but it had too much velocity on it, and once again, it hit into the ceiling. It deadened so quickly, there was no chance of finding a bounce. 14-13. Leonia trying to, again, force a third and final set. Fort Lee, they win this one, they win the match. Oh, had a chance initially. Got blocked to the net. Wong getting it over to Song, and that's the one time that Song was denied entry. Had that blocked right back, and it just curled up and over the net. 15-13. Oh. Again, Fort Lee not really finding a lot of generated success on that far side wing. That time they do get it after O had it deflect off of one of the defenders in front. They're looking for a spark once again. It's Yurchenko coming in. Wong saves it. Yurchenko with the finish. She anticipated that the aggressive defense would come at the net, and in doing so, just quickly and adeptly just dropped it up and over them. 15-15. Bella Plout with the service to the fellow libero, Stella Sang. Fort Lee with a chance to retake the lead. That time, Yurchenko mistimed her jump and hit it into the net. 16-15, Leonia. Song right down the near side. Makes amends after getting blocked her last time trying to do that same thing. Samantha Song has been the scorer for Fort Lee down the near right alley. She now serves. Wong was trying to get that one right in front. Yurchenko on the outside. And Yurchenko too long. Point for Leonia. Every time it feels like Fort Lee is trying to put themselves in a position to at least take back the lead. They have been unable to do so. Leonia has always had an answer that gives them the opportunity to take the lead back. Both teams trading here points. 17-16, second set. Lions. Coach Ziemba was looking for the violation there. He was wondering where it was going to come. Eventually his team scores the point in the back left corner. Scores the point, 17-17. I think he was looking for a double hit. Watanabe has been great at serving here today. Can that trend continue? Couple of Leonia players trying to combine in to make that save. Watanabe ranges down low to save it. Wong to the outside and gets it. After Leonia was trying to dive for it, they deflected it out of bounds. Fort Lee back in front, 18-17. Watanabe. Nakamura had that deflect off the hand of Song. Plout was trying to go range down low to make a save on it, but Song was actually getting in front of her own teammate and had that deflect out wide. 18-18. This time jump in front. It's been a problem in this second set a couple of times here for Fort Lee. And Leonia takes back the lead at 19-18. Again, trying to force a third set if the Lions win this one. Fort Lee can win the match if they hold on to win in the second set. And that's going to be a point for Fort Lee after the block. 19-19. Both teams have split the last 4 meetings, each winning 2 in a row on the opposing team's floor. Fort Lee has won the last 2 years at Leonia. Before that, years ago, it was all Leonia winning here, and once again, just miscommunication, no talking. Sugahara was waiting for a teammate to take the ball, and nobody came. 20-19 lead for Leonia. They're 5 points away from forcing a third set. Oh, had some heat on that one. Pops skyward. Pushed over there by Leonia. Nice job defensively. Kim able to split the defense there in the back line. Nakamura was trying to range down low with Sang, and neither one could get it cleanly and return it. 20-20. First to 25 have to win by at least 2 in the rally scoring. And that's an ace off the serve by Sarah Wong. That had some nice and nasty spin on it. 21-20, Fort Lee in front. Timeout's going to be taken here by Leonia, as Coach Korn wants to talk over his defensive strategy. Once again, we'd like to thank all of our great sponsors of Fort Lee Bridgman Athletics, the Fort Lee PBA, Cafaso's Fairway Market, The Finest Construction, Fort Lee Soccer Club, Rusin and Daru Electric, Bridgman Basketball Camp, the Fort Lee VFW, Visions Federal Credit Union, It's Greek to Me, Connect One Bank, Bergen Black Sox, Senator Builders, and UCS Strength and Speed. Getting down to the home stretch here in set number 2. Fort Lee 4 points away from winning the match and getting to 7-3 on the season. Leonia has been fighting and clawing every step of the way here in the second set. Fort Lee won the opening set by 8, unreturnable that time. Point back over to the visitors, it's 21-all. Fort Lee won the opening set 25-17. But it was close throughout the first set as well. Fort Lee finally went on a sustained run near the end of the set to capture it. Oh, has that one. Deflect off the hands of Leonia out of bounds. Scoring the winner there for Fort Lee at 22-21. Sydney Kim. There's Kim again. Wong, quick little pop shot. Leonia able to track it down. Good hustle there defensively by the Lions. Little drop shot again. Nice job defensively there by Sophia Garrix. Nice play there in front by Fort Lee. Once again, drifting more to the right side, leaving it off to the left side. Anela Watanabe, only a freshman. She has shown off her game here this afternoon. 23-21, Fort Lee really getting close here. 1 point away from match point. And that time it was blocked into the net by Fort Lee, unable to get that 3-point lead that would have been almost feeling like a knockout blow. 23-22 is the Bridgman lead. And the timeout's going to be taken by Coach Ziemba, as he'll want to talk things over with his defense. Again, Fort Lee is up 23-22 here in the second set. They won set number one, 25-17. A win here would win this match. And a reminder, fans, to join us for our next Fort Lee Bridgman volleyball match, and that's going to be a doozy. It's going to be on September 25th here at East Gymnasium as they host Cliffside Park. The Red Raiders, who bested Fort Lee 3 times in nail-biting affairs last season, including in the state playoffs. It's going to have a lot on the line in that one. Fort Lee sits atop the standings in the Big North American Division. Cliffside Park 2-1, Fort Lee 3-0. So Fort Lee were to win that, it'd be 2 games clear of the defending divisional champs. So that's coming up later on this week. Still work to be done here. 23-22 lead for Fort Lee in set 2. Leonia serving out of the timeout. Wong to Song. Watanabe. Great job again. Hook shot finish to that far left side. And Fort Lee at match point here. It's 24-22. Bella Plout will serve. A chance to win the match for her team. Wong setting it up. Song. Song gets the job done. And Fort Lee victorious by a final score of 25-22 in set number 2. They were pushed every step of the way by this Leonia side, but the Bridgmen victorious here at home yet again. That is now 4 straight wins on the season. Their longest win streak of 2025. With a win, Fort Lee will improve to 7-3 on the season. Leonia with a loss will fall to 3-7. So that'll do it for our broadcast coverage here of Fort Lee Bridgman Athletics. Thank you for watching on YouTube. And again, a reminder to join us for the big rivalry showdown later on this week on September 25th, as Fort Lee will be playing host to Cliffside Park. So for everybody here at East Gymnasium, I'm Dan Long saying so long and take care.